recognize himself for 5 minutes for questions. Dr. Zurbuchen, NASA indicated that the delay to JWST is a result of issues identified in integration and testing, but there was also a potential conflict in French Guiana with the European Bepi-Colombo mission. Why was the decision made to launch the $8 billion JWST on the European Ariane 5 rocket instead of a reliable U.S. launch vehicle? Was cost the only consideration, and what are the risks associated with the transporting of JWST to the European launch site located in South America and French Guiana?
Thanks for your question, Mr. Chairman. Part of the decision to go with this other launch vehicle, of course, was cost. And at the moment in time, you remember, of course, I was not sitting here when that decision was made. Cost was an important factor, but so was international collaboration that is really part of the James Webb Space Telescope. As part of the telescope itself and instrument there, we have important international collaborations that really contribute to the leadership that we have in space astrophysics. So kind of we don't believe that there's a conflict of leadership for the United States and some of these collaborations. I will submit, if so desired, Mr. Chairman, more information for the record on the details of that decision and all of this. You should know that the path to that launch site has been under consideration, and in detail, I've heard a briefing for every part of that, and we understand what the risks are in detail and comfortable with it.
I understand they're going to have to even change bridge heights and things like that. Is that the case?
There's a number of things that we had to do for a variety of testing with Webb. Some of the tests we actually wanted to do in some other districts we didn't do because of bridges. In some cases, yes, some bridges might be lifted, or some roads will be enlarged for that. Again, I'll provide the details.
Right. One of the lessons learned that GAO highlights is the need to manage cost and schedule performance for large projects to limit the impacts to the entire science mission portfolio. What ways can NASA balance its portfolio better and ensure that problems in large programs do not overwhelm the smaller ones without losing sight of science objectives, Dr. Zurbuchen?
I believe that what we did with WFIRST is exactly what we should be doing to ensure that balance. I mean, I'm committed to keeping that balance in place through the astrophysics portfolio as well as the other disciplines where similar recommendations are provided from their respective decadals. And I believe that what is required, especially prior to key decision point C, which is what Tom Young talked about, it's absolutely important to create management processes to make sure that these missions don't blossom without boundary, without limit into a bigger mission. So the independent review as well as the action that I took is precisely motivated, not because of anything that we don't like about the mission, but motivated by the importance of creating that balance and keeping it for the years to come.
Okay, thank you. Now, Dr. McKee, the cost estimates for both JWST and WFIRST increased drastically from the time the academies recommended them as part of the decadal survey. Does the Academy provide any recommendations on the maximum cost a program should grow to before it compromises other astronomy and astrophysics priorities? And does the Academy recommend any capabilities to de-scope if problems are encountered during formulation or development?
Let me begin by discussing the first of the projects you mentioned, James Webb. At that time, we did not have the cost control measures that NASA has implemented since. And as I think has been noted, there was a drastic increase in the overall cost of that mission. At the time of the 2001 decadal survey, we did not anticipate such a cost growth. By the time of the 2010 decadal survey, there was a much greater awareness of the impact of these large missions, and as a result, that decadal survey considered several different scenarios for the budget of the program. And however, to my knowledge, they did not explicitly put in any hard and fast rules as to how you would descope. When as the issue of the problems come up with the NASA budget, the importance of maintaining a balanced program is very high on the priority list for the academies, and they have been working with NASA to try to maintain that.
I have several more questions, but I'm out of time, so we're going to go to the gentleman from California, the ranking member.